Hello everybody, this is Ahmed Mukhtar, and today we are going to be looking at Citrix load balancers content switching feature. So what this feature actually does is whenever you type in a URL like http://192.168.10.100, this is going to be a virtual IP address that we are going to be creating on the Citrix load balancer in a while. And for instance, you have this requirement that, okay, if I type in, or if a user types in /home, then you want that request to go to a specific set of servers on the back end. And if they type in something else, for instance, web in my case, then you want them to load balance between a separate set of servers. So in our case, as you can see in our lab, what we are aiming here is that, okay, whenever a request comes in for 192.168.10.100/home or login, we have two servers actually grouped in red. So their IPs are mentioned here, 192.168.20.1 and 20.2. So I want that request, or those requests who have /home or /login in their URLs, to be load balanced between these two servers. And if the URL has /web in it, then I actually want to load balance them towards the green set of servers that are server 3 and 4 with the IP of 192.168.20.3, 20. and 20.4 respectively. So these are our four servers. They're connected to a switch. All of these ports are access ports. This port is a trunk port going toward the Citrix ADC. We have an SNP configured here, so whenever the Citrix ADC talks to these servers, it's going to be talking via this SNP. So as it's an inline mode or two-arm deployment of a load balancer, so the request is going to be coming in from 192.168.10.111. This is me actually, I'm the test user. So I'm going to be hitting this URL on this side. Obviously, as you can see, it's on VLAN 10 and the series is 192.168.10.0/24. And I have an SNP actually configured here, which I'm not actually using for this lab. So I'll just get rid of this right now so that you're not confused about this SNP. So we're mainly focused on the virtual IP that we're going to be creating. So let's just dive in towards the configuration part of how we will achieve all this. So let's start. Okay, so moving on to the step one, this is our Citrix ADC, as you can see in the topology. So I have this interface connected to it. That's the management interface. So everything else is already configured except from the load balancing part. So all these VLAN taggings and everything is in place. The VIP has not been created, so we will create that in a bit. So the first thing you do is actually you go into system and first of all enable this content switching feature, which is disabled by default. So I'm just going to be enabling the content switching feature and click on OK. Okay, if you have not enabled that feature, it will show an exclamation mark over here, which is it is not showing right now because I've just enabled it. So first things first, we will configure all these servers. So go ahead and I'm just going to configure these physical servers. So I'll just click add 192.168.20.1. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. This is it. So I'll just put the IP address here and click on create, add again. It has this memory that it will show up the previous one that you configured, so you don't have to type everything again. So 192.168.20.2. Okay. Second server added. And 20.3. Third one added. And fourth is being added here now. Okay, so that is enabled. Now we need to add the services. By the way, the service that we're going to be using is port 80, default one, so I'm not changing the ports just to keep it as simple as I can. So in your environment, most probably, because I've just deployed it in production, so I know that port numbers change front end and back end. So in your environment, that may be very different. So I'm just going to be creating the services. By the way, just to give you a quick tip, whenever you're configuring a Citrix load balancer, you might want to go from bottom to up. That's a very good approach. So okay, you go into servers, then in services, and then into virtual servers. So the server part has been completed. All the 4 servers are there. Now I'm just going to create the services. So just click on add, and service name is going to be 192.168.20.1 _80. So it's going to be port 80. So now I've already added the servers. I could have added them here as well, but you can add them in the service tab and just call them again from here. So it's 192.168.20.1. This is the first one, port 80. Protocol is HTTP. Click on OK. The first service is created. Now creating the other service, it's gonna be the same but with 2. So it's gonna be the second server. So okay, done. So add again 3, same port, and the 4th one, the last one, 4th, and okay. So as you can see now, I've got all the 4 servers with the service enabled on port 80. The protocol is HTTP. Now we move on towards the virtual servers. Now in our lab, we actually have grouped 2 of the servers in red, so that we know, okay, the red servers are going to entertain /home and /login URLs, and the green servers are going to entertain /web URLs. So the VIPs that we are going to be creating in the load balancing module of the Citrix is going to be based on this categorization that we have done. Okay, and once we go ahead, you will understand, okay, what I'm trying to say. So let's just go ahead and create a virtual server. I'll just add, and I'll name it red servers. I actually created it before, that's why it's showing up. And the big difference is that it will not have an IP address. This IP address actually is going to be assigned in the content switching module of the Citrix, not here. So it will only be as a reference for the load balancing. Just bear with me, you will understand. So I just select the IP address type to non-addressable. Protocol same as I have HTTP. So click on OK. And I just bind the 2 servers that I have for red, and they are server 1 and 2. Not the servers, basically the services of those servers. So select 1 and 2. Clicking on select, binding them. Clicking on OK. Done. And you can see that this is up. Now this should not be, I mean, it doesn't need to be a resolvable name or something. It is not for that purpose. It is just for the content switching module for referencing. Means the content switching module will reference this virtual IP in the load balancing module only. Okay, so this is content switching and this is load balancing. So content switching will be referencing this virtual server and the other one that I'm going to be creating, okay, based on the policies I create in the content switching. Just bear with me, okay? Once I'm doing that, you will understand more. So let's add the green servers. So green servers, HTTP IP address non-addressable. Click on OK. Add the 2 servers, the server 3 and 4. 3 and 4, select that, bind them, and click on continue, and then done. So both these non-addressable virtual servers are up actually, because their backend services are up and they're listening. So that's why these virtual servers are up. Now they will be called in the content switching part now. Now let's move on to the real deal, that is the content switching. Okay, just as we did for a load balancing module of the Citrix, that we went from bottom to up, now we'll use the same approach for content switching. Okay, so first we'll define the actions. So just go into content switching action and click on add. So I'll call it red, or wait a second, I'll just call it content switching CS red server action. So, and what do you want that action to be? Now we haven't defined a policy yet, so you might be thinking why we're defining an action first. So it's like I'm working from bottom to top, that's why I'm doing this first. So whenever this action happens, we will call this action in the policy. Whenever that action happens, what do you want the content switching to do? So we're saying, okay, load balance thing, virtual server. Okay, so you can have GSLB also, but let's stick to only load balancing virtual server. So it'll ask, what is the virtual server that you want me to load balance on? So now we're going to call those load balancing servers. So you can see I'm going to call it red servers. For this one, select that and create. That's one action. The other action is CS green server action. The same virtual server or expression is going to be load balancing virtual server, and this time I'm going to be selecting green. So you understand what will happen with this action. If this action is triggered one way or the other, it's going to use the virtual server green. And just to duplicate that, because I got confused in this part, so let's open up another tab with the load balancing module. So if this action is triggered, it's going to trigger, it's going to send us these requests, whatever the requests come in, towards the virtual server's green. And green virtual server has two services or two servers binded behind it. So this is going to load balance based on whatever the method is configured on this virtual server. So this is how it is. Now, before the action, we have to trigger the policies. So let's go into policies and create a policy for the red one first. So CS content switching red server policy action. So we're going to select that action that we just created. So action will be red. So red servers will be selected in the load balancing module of the Citrix. And based on what, you might be asking. So it's going to be based on this expression that we are going to create now. So we're going to say, okay, if a request comes in, HTTP request comes in, HTTP request, the URL, and there's a parameter actually. If supposedly user is typing in capital letters or small letters, so what we can do is we can say, okay, just ignore that. So you can set the text mode to ignored, ignore case. This is okay. So it starts, ignore case, then dot starts with, start with the string. Now here string, we're gonna put double colon and say, okay, if it starts with, we have /home or /login. Okay, so we say, okay, if it starts with /home or /login. Now we have an OR statement here. So for the OR, you just put in 2 pipe signs. I'll just copy all this, paste it here, and home or login. Okay, both of them. So login, login. So if the HTTP request URL contains /home or it contains the login, then we'll be triggering this action. And this action is going to trigger the load balancing virtual server named as red servers. Okay, so just click on create. Okay, that's done. So let's create another one for the green servers. So let's say it's already showing CS green server policy action will be green server action. That means it'll be triggering these servers in the load balancing module of Citrix. Okay, just copy paste that and say okay, we're gonna use /web. Okay, so if this condition meets, then it's gonna trigger this action. So let's hit create. Both the conditions are there. Now, as we were doing from bottom to up, let's go and create a virtual server in the content switching tab. I'm not in the load balancing tab. I'm in the content switching tab. Remember that. So virtual servers, click on add, say web, any name you want to call it, web server, protocol HTTP. Let's see everything at default. Let's just give it an IP address 192.168.10.100. Port and everything, I'm just leaving it at default. Okay, click on OK. And now, as you would do with the a virtual service, a virtual server, you add in services, right? So in the same way, you add in content switching policies. So just click this, click that, and select the red one first, bind it, and then I go again, click it, and add. I think it's already there. Wait a second. Add binding. Click the green one, select it, bind it, close it. Okay, done. Now it's time for the verifications. Let's hope everything is fine, working fine. And the way we will verify is that I'm going to open a Wireshark capturing for all the 4 servers, and we're going to see this stuff in action. Okay, so as you can see, I've just ran Wireshark capturing on all the 4 servers. So backend server 1 and 2 are part of the red servers. That means they should facilitate /home or /login whenever I type that in. And backend server 3 and 4 should be, should get the HTTP request whenever I type in web. So I haven't actually tested it before recording this. Let's see how it goes now. So I'll just use this incognito mode of my web and just type in HTTP and ::, 192.168.10.100 / first we'll go with login. Okay, so I've just put in login. Now remember that login and home. Whenever I type in login or home, it should be directing towards server 1 and 2. So if I just expand this, I do a refresh on this, it should be going towards server 2. Yes, there it is. And if I refresh this again server 1, then again to server 2 as I hit refresh, as you can see the HTTP GET message is /login, and the other is /home. So let me just try to put /home and see if the request is coming in on server 1 and 2. Home. Yeah, so we got the home coming in on server 1 and 2. Not exactly 2 right now, so I'm just press okay, great. So if I hit refresh, it's showing the same thing. Okay, they're load balancing between server 1 and 2. Now the main thing is, okay, if I type in web, does it actually load balance between 3 and 4? So Let's see if our lab goes well. /web and bingo. Now it went to both servers, or okay, I think I pressed it 2 times, that's why it went to both the servers in within a second. So if I hit refresh, it should go to the other server. Refresh again, it should go to the first server 3, then to server 4. So this is how it is, content switching. So one thing I haven't actually tested is the case sensitivity. I'm testing it for the first time, so bear with me. I hope it works. So if I type in web like this, it's working. It's working. I think it's still working. Okay, so that's good. That's cool. It is working. So this is how content switching actually works on a Citrix load balancer. So I hope this video has been informative for you guys, and thank you for viewing.